Hello, Earth Science class. This is your 23B section of notes, and in it we're going to discuss what is a planet. There is a definition here that would be those objects that would revolve around the sun. 8 planets, some dwarf planets, some small solar system bodies. Okay, we're going to look at this question again. What is a planet? When we try to determine if something's a planet or not, there's some properties, some characteristics, behaviors, patterns that we notice. The first thing would be that we could divide planets into 2 main groups. The first group, terrestrial, that means Earth-like planets, and Jovian, which are not Earth-like. They're gas giants. Their density is such that they do not have a hard surface like we do. Another way we could classify planets or objects would be by their position. Those planets that are within, like closer to the sun than we are, and those planets that are farther. Okay? Inferior planets are between us and the sun. Superior planets are outside of the Earth's orbit. Okay? We would recognize that in our solar system there is Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and those are going to make up those 8 planets that we talked about. Okay? We're going to just look at a little bit here. When we observe things, we're on planet Earth, so that's going to influence how we see things, right? Those planets that are inferior or within the circle of between Earth and Sun would be Mercury and Venus. Those planets that are superior are going to be outside, right? Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. Those planets would be outside or superior to the Earth. And when I mentioned that Mars has a optical illusion of retrograde motion, all of these planets are farther from the sun, so their path is going to be longer than the path that Earth experiences. So any of these planets that we could see would experience retrograde motion. Okay, we're just going to take a few slides to look at some details of the planets. First one, Mercury, right? It's closest to the sun. It's the smallest. It has the shortest year, but the longest day, right? It has no known moons. Nothing that we can see is orbiting around it. Venus, the next one in line, the brightest planet, sometimes referred to as the morning star or the evening star. It's going to look like a very bright star in the sky to us. But it's not. It's a planet. It appears to rotate backwards. Out of all of our motion of planets, this one appears to rotate backwards in the opposite direction. It does have an atmosphere, from what we can tell. Nobody has landed there, but we have sent and studied it through the satellite footage and various telescopes and probes and that kind of thing. Okay, the Earth, the third planet from the sun, right? That's the one where we live. That's we are not going to discuss it at this time because we've studied Earth science all year. Mars is a reddish kind of color. It's not believed to have a geomagnetic field, Has two moons, Phobos and Deimos. It has a very large crater on it called Olympus Mons, and appears to have very strong erosional features or shapes on its surface. The next planet in line, Jupiter, the fifth and largest planet, is believed to have a rocky core with a layer of metallic hydrogen around the outside, and it has or is known for its large red spot. It's called the Great Red Spot. Jupiter has many moons. They are called Galilean moons because they were discovered by Galileo in 1610 when he had his telescope. The next planet in line, Saturn, has an equatorial bulge. That means it's larger around the center than around the poles. It too has many moons, and it's known for its rings that are located around the mid portion of the planet. Has a moon called Titan. Uranus, discovered by Herschel in 1781, has an axial tilt that makes it very much rotating at a 90-degree angle to the rest of our planets in line. Has an unusual structure, and it also has faint rings. The next one in line, Neptune, the most distant planet in our solar system, more massive than Uranus, but is smaller in diameter. It too has rings. That ends our 23B section of notes about the planets. Your book has a lot of very cool pictures and information. I would challenge you to read about the planets.